Okay, folks, here's the answers to quiz 3. So, round 1 was those parts of the body. I asked you to point to on your stickman where your islets of Langerhans are. They're in your pancreas, which is somewhere in the body, somewhere in the trunk of the body, below the arms, above the crotch. so anywhere in here, you can have the mark. I mean, obviously, it would actually be somewhere around there, but anywhere on below the arms, above the crotch, you can have the mark. Question 2 was the glabella. The glabella is the gap between your eyebrows. It's here. So if you got it in the region of the eyes, up here, you get the point. You can have half a point if you got it on the head somewhere. Question 3 was your perlicue. Your perlicue is the gap between your thumb and your forefinger. It's this bit, this sort of skinny bit. So you needed to point to a hand to get the point. Either hand will do. You have one on each hand. You don't have one on the foot as far as I can tell. If anyone can write to me and tell me that they do, then maybe you do. But as far as I can tell, it's only between the thumb and the forefinger. Your natal cleft goes down here at the pelvic area. It is the crease between your buttocks. Your bum crease. So question 4, you needed to point to the join of the legs and the body, shall we say. And your calcaneus, or calcaneum, is your heel bone. So you needed to point to the foot. Either foot will do. Round 2, I asked you about those Russian sports. First one was slalom. In Russian, slalom. So that was question 6. Question 7, bobsleigh or bobsled. If you put skeleton bob, that's fine. Bobsleigh in Russian. Now, question 8, slightly harder. The Russian words I showed you were figurное катание, figure skating. I hope that the F, it looks a bit like a Greek letter phi. Those of you that did some maths, maybe you just guessed. Maybe you got it wrong. Number 9, curling. In Russian, curling. I'm going to get Russians complaining at me, I know I am. Question 10, Katania na snowboardzie. Snowboarding. So question 10, snowboarding. Now, the flexitarianism round. Question 11, I asked you, huevos rancheros, was that suitable for vegans, vegetarians, or omni-meaty type people? It's a vegetarian dish traditionally. It does have eggs in. Huevos is eggs. So vegetarian would be the correct answer. It's not vegan because of the eggs, but it doesn't have any meaty, fishy stuff in as standard. I then asked you lasagna al forno. Al forno just means of the or from the oven, but a standard lasagna al forno would have layers of minced meat in it, so it's definitely a meaty omni dish. 14, sadza ugali. Is a meal porridge. It's made of cornmeal or maize or sorghum or cassava or millet, but it's basically just the grain and water. So it's vegan. Wouldn't normally have any milk in it or anything else that would unveganize it. Now, here we get into the contentious ones. 14, brinjal bhaji. I looked up 5 recipes of this, all of which were vegan. And then I ran this quiz and everyone on it said, no, it would be standard cooked in ghee, in butter. So you can have a mark if you put vegan or if you put vegetarian because of ghee or butter. Otherwise, no marks. And finally, the one I didn't know about was charoset. Charoset is a sort of fruit salad sort of thing that is part of the Passover meal in the Jewish tradition. It's made of apples and raisins and sweet wine, which would be vegan. And indeed, it is a vegan dish. So if you put vegan, you can have the point. However, traditionally, very often, honey is added. And honey would be considered not vegan. So therefore, if you put vegetarian because of honey, you can have a point. If you just put vegetarian, you cannot have a point. And lastly, the first names. I asked you the first name shared by the spouse of a ruler of England in spouse of a ruler of England in 1450, a former Prime Minister of the UK, and a twice Booker Prize winning author. The answer is Margaret. Those three Margarets are Margaret of Anjou, Margaret Thatcher, and Margaret Atwood, the author. Question 17, I asked you about the inspirational military leader, the OBE honoured actor who'd been married and went on about wine and age, and the talk show host who said she wanted a twin so she'd know what she looked like without the plastic surgery. They all share the first name Joan. So that's Joan of Arc, Joan Collins, and Joan Rivers. Question 18, 14th in line to the throne, title character from the 1908 novel, and the author from a famous family of authors. They're all Annes. So Princess Anne, Princess Royal, is 14th in line to the throne. Anne of Green Gables was written by Lucy Montgomery in 1908, and there are subsequent Anne of Green Gables books. And Anne Bronte wrote Tenant of Wildfell Hall. I'll let you off with Annie or Anna, but it should be Anne, really. Question 19. I asked you about the iconic photo in Tu Wong Fu, the wonderful actor who'd been nominated for and won all those awards, and the producer-director of The Lion King. Those are all Julies. Julie Newmar is the person in the photo in Tu Wong Fu. Julie Andrews has been nominated for and won all those awards, and Julie Taymor is the fabulous producer-director of The Lion King stage show. And finally, question 20, I asked you about the sports personality of the year, who won all the Paralympic golds, the singer-songwriter with the album Lights, and the Dutch astrophysicist. Those are all Ellies. If you put El or Ella, you can have it, but they're all known as Ellie. They are Ellie Simmons, the Paralympian, Ellie Goulding, the singer-songwriter, and Ellie Dekker, the Dutch astrophysicist. So, that was it. I hope you did okay. I hope you had fun watching. And yeah, leave me a comment. Leave me a like. We like likes. Leave me a comment telling me how you did. And if you want to argue the toss about whether brinjal bhaji has butter in it. Yeah, because I really enjoy that. Bye.